Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are John Kiernan, an innovation and change officer whose specialist subject is the acclaimed photographer Lee Miller. Lynn Ralston, a retired librarian who will be answering questions on the music of Bob Dylan. Morgan Walmsley Davies, a student, his subject is the history of the Green Party of England and Wales. And Lucy Westall, a pastry chef, her subject, the films of the Oscar-winning Spanish director Pedro Almodovar. So, 4 new box-fresh contenders gunning for the title of Mastermind champion. That's a bragging right if ever there was one, who will emerge from the battle victorious to claim a coveted place in the semi-final. We'll soon find out after 2 minutes of specialist subject questions, followed by 2.5 minutes of general knowledge for each of our merry band of quizzes. Good luck to one and all. So, can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
John Kiernan.
Your occupation?
Innovation and Change Officer.
And your specialist subject?
Lee Miller.
The acclaimed American fashion and war photographer. In 2 minutes, starting now. Elizabeth Lee Miller was born on the 23rd of April, 1907, in which town in New York State?
Poughkeepsie.
Yes, at the age of 19, Miller stepped into the path of an oncoming car while crossing the road in New York, but was pulled back onto the pavement by which publishing entrepreneur?
Condé Nast.
Yes, in New York in the late 1920s, Miller frequently modelled for which Luxembourg-born fashion photographer who'd served in the US Army's photography division during the First World War?
Edward Steichen.
Yes, on arriving in Paris in 1929, Miller introduced herself to Man Ray, announcing that she was to be his new student and boldly stating that she would accompany him on holiday to which resort in the south of France?
Biarritz.
Yes, which opera by Virgil Thompson and Gertrude Stein that opened on Broadway in 1934 made use of Miller's photographs of the predominantly African-American cast in its publicity and for its program?
The Aeneid.
No, 4 Saints in 3 Acts. Which famous artist painted 6 portraits of Miller at his summer retreat in Mougins in the south of France in the summer of 1937?
Picasso.
Yes. What title did Miller give to one of her photos of London during the Blitz, taken in 1940, featuring a fallen statue with a metal bar lying across her neck and a brick on top of her left breast?
Fallen Statue.
No, Revenge on Culture. Miller was assigned to which port in Brittany in August 1944 to cover the US Army's efforts to maintain order after its reported capture from the Germans?
Saint-Malo.
Yes, when Miller arrived in newly liberated Paris in late August 1944, she installed herself in room 412 of which hotel that had been requisitioned by the Allied Press Corps?
Hotel Scribe.
Yes, which former Hungarian Prime Minister's execution did Miller photograph in Budapest in January 1946?
Laszlo Bardossi.
Yes, in May 1947, Miller married Roland Penrose, who had co-founded which artistic and cultural centre in London the previous year?
The ICA.
Yes, after Miller's death at Farley Farm in 1977, her family sprinkled her ashes in the herb garden and around which statue by Henry Moore, which stood on the lawn?
Rodin.
No, Mother and Child. And John, you had no passes, and at the end of the round, you've got 9 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name?
Lynn Ralston.
And your occupation?
Retired school librarian.
And your specialist subject?
The music of Bob Dylan.
Yes, one of the world's most influential and groundbreaking songwriters. In 2 minutes, let's go. Which Bob Dylan song that reached the UK top 10 in 1965 includes the lines, "Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call"?
Pass.
Dylan's first major New York gig was a 2-week engagement in April 1961 at Gerde's Folk City in Greenwich Village, opening for which blues singer?
John Lee Hooker.
Yes. What was the first song that Dylan released as a single in 1962 with Corina Corina on the B-side, although it never even entered the charts?
Baby Stop Crying.
No, Mixed Up Confusion. Which renowned album of the 1960s was Dylan's first on which all the tracks feature other musicians rather than just him and his guitar?
Bringing It All Back Home.
No, Highway 61 Revisited. Which single had the pioneering video of Dylan standing in a London alleyway holding cue cards that he drops one by one as the lyrics are sung, while Allen Ginsberg stands in the background?
Subterranean Homesick Blues.
Yes, on the 1970 album New Morning, which backing vocalist is credited for her improvised scat singing on the track If Dogs Run Free?
Pass.
Which tarot card features on the back cover of the 1976 album Desire?
Queen of Spades.
No, Empress. Which singer and musician joined Dylan on stage at Philadelphia's Electric Factory in December 1995 to duet on the song Dark Eyes from his Empire Burlesque album?
Patti Smith.
Yes, for which 2003 film set in the American Civil War and directed by Ron Maxwell did Dylan compose the song Cross the Green Mountain?
Pass.
What's the title of Dylan's first ever #1 single under his own name on a US Billboard chart, which topped the American chart in 2020, some 58 years after his first single release?
I Contain Multitudes.
No, Murder Most Foul. The longest track on the 1975 album Blood on the Tracks concerns two women's involvement with the Jack of Hearts. One is called Lily. What's the name of the other?
Rosemary.
Yes, which track, I've started so I'll finish, from one of Dylan's 1990s albums was inspired by a visit to Speaker's Corner in London's Hyde Park and includes in its lyrics a reference to Elvis?
I Went to See the Gypsy.
No, TV talking song. And Lynn, you had 3 passes, for which 2003 film set in the American Civil War did Dylan compose the song Cross the Green Mountain. It was Gods and Generals. On the 1970 album New Morning, the backing vocalist credited for her improvised scat singing is Maretha Stewart. And I know you know this one. The times are a-changing. Yes, come senators, come congressmen, please heed the call. And at the end of that round, Lynn, you've scored 4 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name
Morgan Wormsley Davis.
and your occupation
I'm a student.
and your specialist subject.
The history of the Green Party of England and Wales.
The political party whose ideology has its origins in environmentalism. In 2 minutes, let's go. The Green Party was named the Ecology Party for much of its early life, but had originally been launched in 1973 under what other name?
People.
Yes, Leslie and Tony Whitaker, 2 of the party's founders, had initially been inspired by an interview with the biologist Paul Ehrlich on global population growth that had been published in which magazine?
Playboy.
Yes, the Manifesto for a Sustainable Society replaced the party's original manifesto, which had been ratified in 1974 and was entitled A Manifesto for what?
Survival.
Yes, the first Ecology Party summer gathering took place in 1980 on what farm?
Worthy Farm.
Yes, what 3-word slogan was used as the title of the party's 1983 election manifesto and also featured at the end of their 1987 televised election broadcast?
The Real Alternative.
No, Politics for Life. The party experienced a surge in media prominence when it received an unprecedented 14.9% vote share, though no seats in the European Parliament elections of what year?
1989.
Yes, which Anglican priest defected from the Liberal Democrats in 1999 and joined the Green Party, representing them as a life peer in the House of Lords?
Tim Beaumont.
Yes. At the 1991 party conference, controversial reforms were introduced by what centralising faction named for its stated aim of securing parliamentary representation by a particular deadline?
Green 2000.
Yes, which party chair withdrew her candidacy for re-election in 1992 and wrote a scathing letter denouncing what she called endless redundant skirmishes behind the Green Party barricades?
Joe Robbins.
No, Sarah Parkin. Caroline Lucas was elected as the first official party leader in 2008. At the same time, who was elected as the first deputy leader?
Adrian Ramsey.
Yes, the official magazine for party members, first published in 1993 as a successor to Eco News and Real World, and replaced by a website in 2018, has what title?
Green World.
Yes, when Caroline Lucas was elected MP for Brighton Pavilion in 2010, which party member was appointed to fill her vacant seat in the European Parliament, having himself contested Brighton Pavilion in the previous 2 UK general elections?
Keith Taylor.
Yes, it is Keith Taylor. And Morgan, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 10 points. And our final contender, please. And your name?
Lucy Westall,
And your occupation?
pastry chef.
And your specialist subject?
The films of Pedro Almodovar.
The films of the Spanish writer-director who made stars of Penelope Cruz and Antonio Banderas. In 2 minutes, starting now. Which 2006 Pedro Almodovar film stars Penelope Cruz as Raimunda, a role that earned her a nomination for the Best Actress Oscar?
Volver.
Yes, in Pepe, Lucy Bomb, when Pepe's father stops her income, she sees a newspaper job advert seeking chicas imaginativas, imaginative girls, and tells him it's not a problem because she has got a job at what type of agency?
Advertising agency.
Yes, in Law of Desire, Antonio, played by Antonio Banderas, is motivated by jealousy to kill his love rival Juan near which lighthouse?
Trafalgar.
Yes, in Talk to Her, which actress plays Katerina Belova, the former dance teacher of the comatose Alicia?
Geraldine Chaplin.
Yes, in Matador, Almodovar plays a fashion designer called Francisco Montesinos, backstage with his models before a runway show, one of whom is Ava, the lover of the retired Matador Diego. What's the title of the fashion show?
Spain Divided.
Yes, España Dividida. In Dark Habits, the nun, Sister Rat, a member of the Order of Humiliated Redeemers, writes lurid popular fiction under what pen name?
Concha Torres.
Yes, in which Oscar-nominated film does the chronically ill film director Salvador Mayo, played by Antonio Banderas, struggle with drug addiction?
Pain and Glory.
Yes, Alberto Iglesias composes the music for many of Almodovar's films, but which Oscar-winning composer provides the music for Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down?
Ennio Morricone.
Yes, in Live Flesh, the recently released prisoner Victor volunteers to work at a children's home run by Elena, who is the object of his fixation. What's the name of the home?
El Fontanar.
Yes, which French fashion designer worked on the costumes of several of Almodovar's films, beginning with Kika in 1993?
Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Yes, Almodovar's 2016 film Julieta is based on 3 short stories entitled Chance, Soon and Silence by which Canadian author?
Alice Munro.
Yes, in Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, what's the name of the hometown of the recently released psychiatric patient Ricky, which he returns to at the end of the film?
Granadilla.
Yes, Antonia, San Juan's character in Almodovar's 1999 film All About My Mother, says that people call her by what name because all her life she has wanted only to make life agreeable for others.
Agrado.
Yes, La Agrado. Lucy, you got them all right. No passes, 13 points.
Thank you.
There we go. At the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place, with 4 points, is Lynn. In 3rd place, with 9 points, it's John. In 2nd place, with 10 points, comes Morgan. And in 1st place, with 13 points, it's Lucy. And now the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Lynn to join us again, please. Lynn, you start with 4 points. Plenty of time. You've got 2.5 minutes now on general knowledge. Let's go. In the UK, mint sauce is traditionally served with which meat?
Lamb.
Yes, which cartoon character lives in an underwater pineapple and has a neighbour named Squidward Tentacles?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yes. Alder Hey Children's Hospital, one of the largest in Europe, has its main site in which city in northwest England?
Liverpool.
Yes. Which Formula One circuit in Japan is unusual in that its layout is a loose figure-of-8 shape crossing over itself by means of an overpass?
Kyoto.
No, Suzuka. In an American presidential election, what's the minimum number of electoral college votes a candidate must win in order to be elected US president?
264.
No, 270. The northern species of which dabbling duck, named for the shape of its long, broad, spade-like bill, is distinguished by the bright green head plumage of the male?
Pass.
What South African snack consisting of strips of meat that have been salted and dried has a name that comes from Afrikaans words for buttock and tongue?
Biltong.
Yes, what 1944 film about a racehorse and a young girl who rides him was adapted from a 1935 novel by Edith Bagnold?
National Velvet.
Yes, a triangular arrangement of numbers in which each inner number is the sum of the 2 numbers immediately above it is commonly named after which 17th century French mathematician?
Pascal.
Yes. What new radio station was launched on the 30th of September 1967 and after the initial theme music played as its first record, Flowers in the Rain by The Move?
Radio 1.
Yes, between 1983 and 2013, Robin Lee Pemberton, Eddie George and Mervyn King were consecutive governors of which financial institution?
Bank of England.
Yes, which author became the first American winner of the Booker Prize when he won in 2016 for his novel The Sellout?
Pass.
Between 1977 and 1982, the King and Queen of which European country had 3 children named Victoria, Carl Philip and Madeleine?
Sweden.
Yes, which element has the chemical symbol Si?
Silesium.
No, silicon. The Bois de Boulogne, a former royal hunting preserve, is now a public park in which European capital city?
Paris.
Yes, in a British comic strip first published in 1920. What's the name of the title character whose friends include Bill Badger, Algie Pug and Edward Trunk?
Rupert.
Yes, what word for a stone coffin is derived from a Greek term meaning flesh-eating because it was once believed that limestone helped to rot the corpse more quickly?
Sarcophagus.
Yes, it is a sarcophagus. Lynn, you just had 2 passes. Paul Beatty is the author who became the first American winner of the Booker Prize. And the northern species of dabbling duck, named for the shape of its long, broad, spade-like bill. It's a shoveler. And at the end of that round, Lynn, you now have a total of 16 points.
Thank you.
And next up, let's have John again, please. So, John, you start with 9 points. The score to beat as it stands, 16 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. German vessels known as U-boats were used in the First and Second World Wars. What's the usual name for this type of underwater craft?
Submarine.
Yes, the only 2 planets with orbits closer to the sun than that of Earth are Mercury and which other planet?
Venus.
Yes, what very hot spicy sauce made from red peppers is sometimes added to a Bloody Mary cocktail and shares its name with a state in southeastern Mexico?
Tabasco.
Yes, the 2021 Eurovision Song Contest was won by a song by a rock group called Maneskin, representing which country?
Italy.
Yes, what name, said to be after that of an Irish town in County Wicklow, is given to a stick of blackthorn or oak, often used as a cudgel?
Cudgel.
No, it's a shillelagh. Dizygotic or non-identical twins are commonly described by what word derived from the Latin for brother?
Brotherly.
No, fraternal. Which comedian known for the television series The Mary Whitehouse Experience and Fantasy Football League went on to perform the stand-up shows Fame, not the musical, and My Family, not the sitcom?
Paul Whitehouse.
No, David Baddiel. A certain shade of bluish grey is named after what alloy of copper, tin and zinc once used in the making of cannons?
Black.
No, gunmetal. Liza Minnelli is the daughter of the film director Vincent Minnelli, and which actress?
Ginger Rogers.
No, Judy Garland. What's the name of the French restaurant opened by the Roux brothers in a pub in the village of Bray near Maidenhead, which was awarded its 3rd Michelin star in 1985?
Le Chevre.
No, the Waterside Inn. Which city in northwest England stands on the site of a Roman fortress known as Diva?
Chester.
Yes, the Althing was founded in the 10th century as the national parliament of which island country in the North Atlantic?
Norway.
No, Iceland. Which American television series first shown in 1999 has, as its title character, an undead private detective who originally appeared in Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Columbo.
No, Angel. Harold Bird, born in Barnsley in 1933 and better known as Dickie Bird, was a player and later a famous umpire in which sport?
Cricket.
Yes. In 2013, the television presenter and nature expert Miranda Krestovnikov was elected president of which British wildlife charity?
The RSPB.
Yes, Wishy Washy is the brother of the title character in what traditional pantomime?
Tinkerbell.
No, Aladdin. The prefix kilo in words such as kilojoule and kilogram indicates what number?
1,000.
Yes, what's the name of the title character, a scarecrow on the Scatterbook Farm, in a series of children's books by Barbara Eufen Todd?
Catweasel.
No, Wurzel Gummidge. And John, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got a total of 17 points. And it's Morgan's turn. So, Morgan, you start with 10 points. The score to beat, as it stands, 17 points. And you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. Man's best friend is an affectionate term for what domesticated animal?
Dog.
Yes, the letters E-N-T in the name of a hospital department stand for ear, nose, and what other part of the body?
Throat.
Yes, what's the first name of the former Question Time presenter who is the brother of the news broadcaster Jonathan Dimbleby and the son of the war correspondent Richard Dimbleby?
David.
Yes, which compass point is directly opposite southwest?
Northeast.
Yes, which British singer who uses her middle name as a stage name had UK #1 singles with Dreams in 1993 and Rise in 2000?
Gabrielle.
Yes, a road bridge completed in 1964, which was claimed to be the longest suspension bridge in Europe at the time, spans which estuary in eastern Scotland?
The D estuary.
No, the Firth of Forth. The 1961 film Breakfast at Tiffany's was based on a short novel by which American author?
Jones.
No, Truman Capote. What's the name of the former Aston Villa, Man City, Everton and West Brom footballer who retired in 2020 having made a record 653 appearances in the Premier League?
Wayne Rooney.
No, Gareth Barry. Which cemetery just outside Washington, D.C. is the burial site of more than 400,000 people, including the former presidents William Howard Taft and John F. Kennedy?
I can't remember. Pass.
What was the title of the final novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which was left unfinished at the time of his death in 1940?
Great Gatsby.
No, The Last Tycoon. On a standard dartboard, what number between the 7 and the 8 is a popular choice of double to finish on because it can be halved 4 times if the player hits the single instead?
64.
No, 16. The French word chèvre is used for cheese made from the milk of which animal?
Goat.
Yes, in 2018, Pedro Sanchez succeeded Mariano Rajoy as Prime Minister of which European country?
Spain.
Yes, Clara Stahlbaum is the main female character in which 1892 ballet with music by Tchaikovsky?
Swan Lake.
No, the Nutcracker. What adjective meaning relating to the Middle Ages is derived from a Latin term for middle age?
Pass.
What's the first name of the British Army officer who was the first husband of Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall?
Charles.
No, Andrew, the unidentified prisoner commonly known as the Man in the Iron Mask, who was jailed during the reign of Louis XIV, died in 1703. In which prison in Paris?
Bastille.
Yes, a general anaesthetic affects the whole body and the patient is rendered unconscious. What word is correspondingly used to describe an anaesthetic that numbs only a small area of the body and under which the patient remains awake?
Local anaesthetic.
Yes, it is local. Morgan, you had 2 passes. The adjective meaning relating to the Middle Ages, you know this, medieval.
Oh, yeah. Of course it is.
And yeah, of course it is. And it is the Arlington National Cemetery, just outside Washington. And at the end of that round, Morgan, you've got 19 points. And finally, let's have Lucy again, please. Lucy, you start with 13 points to score to beat to get through to the semi-finals. Morgan with 19 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge. Let's go. The word Oxonian refers to a native or inhabitant of which English city?
Oxford.
Yes. Are You Experienced, Axis, Bold as Love and Electric Ladyland were UK hit albums in the late 1960s for which American singer and rock guitarist and his band?
Jimi Hendrix.
Yes. What name of Cantonese origin is typically given to a large, round-bottomed frying pan used in Chinese cookery?
Wok.
Yes. According to the rules of which Olympic sport, played with bats and a ball, must the playing surface be 9 feet long, 5 feet wide and 2.5 feet above the floor?
Table tennis.
Yes. The American gangster and bank robber Charles Arthur Floyd, who was killed by FBI agents in 1934, was better known by what nickname?
Babyface.
No, Pretty Boy Floyd. The name of what simple computer programming language developed in the 1960s is an acronym derived from Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code.
Basic.
Yes. Which actor who provides the voice of Dobby, the house elf, in the Harry Potter films and plays Claudius Templesmith in The Hunger Games was made an OBE in the 2021 New Year's Honours List?
Andy Serkis.
No, Toby Jones. In January 2019, Jair Bolsonaro was sworn in as the president of which South American country?
Venezuela.
No, Brazil. Which king of Scotland was the first of the Stuart monarchs and came to the throne in 1371 after the death of his uncle David II?
James I.
No, Robert II. The stage musicals Oklahoma and Hello, Dolly both feature what punctuation mark in their title?
Exclamation mark.
Yes. Which metallic chemical element used in the manufacture of some types of steel and to produce a blue pigment has a name that comes from a German word for goblin?
Cobalt.
Yes. In which opera by Rossini, first performed in 1817, is the title character a bird that steals a silver spoon?
Thieving magpie.
Yes. What's the professional surname of the retail expert and broadcaster who has presented several television series, including Mary Queen of Shops and Mary Queen of the High Street?
Quartus.
Yes, the SI unit of force, symbolised by an uppercase letter N, is named after which English scientist and mathematician?
Newton.
Yes. Who is the rambling narrator and title character of a 9-volume novel by Lawrence Sterne, published between 1759 and 1767?
Tristram Shandy.
Yes. What name is given to the 14 bones in the fingers and toes of each hand and foot?
Metacarpals.
No, phalanges, a well-known expression about reward and punishment as methods of persuasion, refers to a carrot as reward and what as punishment?
Stick.
Yes, the soldier, archaeologist, I've started so I'll finish, and writer, who joined the RAF in 1922 under the assumed name John Hume Ross, and the following year enlisted in the Royal Tank Corps as T.E. Shaw, is better known by what name?
Roald Dahl.
No, Lawrence of Arabia. And Lucy, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, 25 points.
Thank you.
So let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 16 points comes Lynn. In third place with 17 points, it's John. In second place with 19 points, it's Morgan. And way out ahead, in first place with 25 points, it's Lucy, which means that she goes through to the semi-finals. Many congratulations to her. Now, if you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind. And you can, of course, follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
When you first walk into the studio, it is very intimidating. It feels a little bit easier once Clive starts asking the questions.
In Talk to Her, which actress plays Katerina Belova, the former dance teacher of the comatose Alethea?
Geraldine Chaplin.
Yes.
Concha Torres.
Yes.
Agrado.
Yes.
Anyone who's thinking of applying for the show should definitely just go for it. I wouldn't consider myself a quizzer. I'm not part of any quiz league, but still I made it this far.
Way out ahead with 25 points. It's Lucy.
I think the revision for the semi-final starts straight away.